button and boom. Okay. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tells podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
and we're live on a Tuesday, ready to do some podcasting, programming note. This will be our last regular show of the week, and if I'm not mistaken, we actually have basketball games to go to Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So there's no balls deep this week. If you're looking for that, plenty of sports stuff to talk about. We'll just have to hit up 2 weeks next time. But that's for the people behind the paywall, premium people. Y'all know what it is. The official weapon of the show is
folding chair.
And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball extreme.
My brain has to process. Y'all think I'm bullshit. My brain has to process that every time.
And we have a guest. We're not here by ourselves. He's been on the show before. I've gone on his podcast before. It's Zach from the Living Corporate podcast. What's going on, man?
Yo, Rod, Karen, how y'all doing?
Good, man. Good to see you, bro. It's been too long, man. How's everything going with the podcast?
So first of all, it has been way too long. Let me tell you how long it's been. First of all, I got way more gray hair, but then also I got a whole nother baby since the last time I talked to you. I got 2 kids now.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. It's been a while, but I appreciate y'all. Yeah, no, the pod is doing great, man. You know, I say this every time. I give you flowers, you know, in private, but also just on mic, I'm gonna say, when we talked initially back in like 2018, and I was like, yo, like, what advice do you have for me? Because I want to say Lance connected us. And you were like, look, man, it's not really going to be sexy advice. You just got to be consistent. And like, we've been consistent. And so the pod's doing great. We're doing our thing. A lot of stuff is happening over there. It's been good, man. I'm super thankful. I'm grateful.
Yeah. And you have been very consistent. Like, I always see, you know, the pod updating, Living Corporate, like you're always getting guests on, which I know is already like an extra level of work, coordinating schedules with people all the time.
It is.
And one of the things I was thinking about when you came, knowing you were coming on, was in just the last few years, the way that the corporate landscape has changed, you know, with so many different, it's on so many different levels. You know, the first being, of course, the pandemic. We go to remote work. There's a lot less people in offices. Then there's we got to come back to office. Hybrid work is a big thing now. I feel like people's work schedules are different now. Traffic, even in my city, the rush hour has changed. Like, it used to be a 4:30, 5 o'clock-ish thing. Now it could be 4 o'clock and it's already like slammed on the highway.
Because people going in early because they like, I'm not going to be stuck in that quote unquote later traffic. But all it does is just push the traffic time up higher as far as like rush hour.
How has that affected the conversations that you're having on living corporate, or has it affected those things?
Yeah. So, man, first of all, thank you for the question, and thank y'all for the love in the chat and the comments. I'm gonna try to not look over there. Y'all have an incredible community. I just love this show. I love y'all. So what I'll say about I'm trying not to be like a super fan and just answer the question. So now, like, you're right, because I think about when we started Living Corporate, and it was really started by just me wanting to have conversations that were honest about Black experiences at work, and then Black and brown experiences, and expanded to like marginalized experiences. It was in this context of like most people working in an office. Like, that was in 2018. And then to your point, 2020 changed a lot, because it wasn't just the pandemic, to your point, it was also the murder of George Floyd. And so like everybody, I guess, discovered that racism is bad. So then like it was this combination of people working remote, and then also like these really, you all remember what was going on, like white folks were just apologizing and like handing us ice cream cones and like just going above and beyond to like reckon with their racism. So I think it was an interesting season of like both of those things coming together at the same time. And so the discussions changed in that before, like I would say before 2020, I was talking to Black executives, but they would be really nervous about being on Living Corporate because we just were having really honest and frank conversations. And they knew, based on listening to other pods, that like, we're not like cussing and going crazy, but we ain't not gonna talk about whatever we're gonna talk about either. Yeah. But then after 2020, it was like there was a different degree of boldness. And also, I'm gonna say, like, corporate brands began to get way more engaged and interested, right? So like around that time is when we got featured on CBS This Morning, and then we did like a 3-year contract with Pfizer. We did a contract with Amazon. We did like some branding stuff with other consulting firms. The landscape changed a lot in that regard because people were like, stuff was kind of becoming in vogue, and I think they were trying to do more work with like just marginalized people and being and not being on the wrong side of history. But then to y'all's point about going back to work and hybrid being more constant, now we're seeing like layoffs becoming like part of just the operational norm. So, and I'm not like super, I'm 35, right? So like I do remember when I graduated from college, I remember you go to your job and like if a layoff happened, that was like something was going wrong. Like it wasn't like normal for catchers to be laid off in the thousands or whatever. But now like layoffs becoming more and more the operational norm, and like there's this pressure from organizations to like bring people back in the office. I am seeing and experiencing almost like a return to pre-2020 where people are a little bit more hesitant to have certain conversations, and where organizations are still working with us, there's a lot more guardrails around what we're doing, as opposed to just like this free spirit, let's just have these conversations. Shoot, I'm not even gonna say the brand because people listen to y'all. But there's this brand that reached out to me that wants me to have their chief diversity officer on our podcast. This was like, no, the chief people officer on our podcast. It's a major tech company. And then just yesterday, I saw that they had that they just fired a bunch of people for having a pro-Palestine event. And so I'm anticipating that like when I engage with their PR person tomorrow, that they're gonna be like, hey, can we not talk about certain stuff, right? Whereas before, I had the CEO of SurveyMonkey talking about, I love Black people, Black Lives Matter. If you don't believe in Black Lives Matter, you ain't gonna work here. Like those things, them type of free conversations, the tone has changed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm about to say, for me, maybe it's just me also, the election has shifted too. Like, I think a lot of people fail to realize when people felt free, it was the people that would come out and like do the friction, they were underground. And now all of a sudden they had a spokesperson. So now they're coming out and people are finding out that these people are your bosses and your supervisors and higher up in management and things like that. And they really do feel certain way, when before they wouldn't say anything, or it wasn't important enough, or they didn't want to be shamed.
Yes.
But now they don't feel any shame because the person they support doesn't feel shame. So if he doesn't feel shame, why should I feel shame?
1,000%.
And they'll turn around, and the people that are doing the right thing, they make you feel shameful. And so, like you say, it is kind of a reset back to, you just come in here, you do what you're told, and then you just go home.
Well, also, the whole point that I was making the entire time that the white guilt economy was going up was get it while you can, because white guilt is a finite resource and you can't like budget around it. You can't plan around it. You know, there's a lot of shows, a lot of people that I watch get an influx of money, but it was not sustainable money. You know, I knew people that got hundreds of thousands of dollars off of white people feeling bad about that stuff. And we had like a good little grip too, because it was like, I remember the first thing they felt bad about really was Hillary Clinton losing. And that really should have been more of a like universal loss for America and women especially. But instead it kind of turned into like Black people thing, because Donald Trump rose to power on a lot of it being racism and bigotry, and who's normally the focal point in America. And then, of course, you get the police killings and all that stuff, and it going viral. I remember there was a point where even Donald Trump said that George Floyd, the officers who killed George Floyd, was wrong. Like, so that was how bad it was. And there was that influx of money. But what we always forget about in America is there's always a backlash or whitelash, if you prefer that, to this stuff. And these corporations they're corporations. They're not actually in it for the morality of it. Morality is good if you can add a PR benefit to it. It's good if you can make a financial benefit out of it. You know, if there's some type of windfall for you. That's why I always say I believe in Disney capitalism, where like I don't know what the hell the people truly think of me and gay people and all this. What I do know is if they see an exploit in the market where it's like, you know what people really want, a really gay show, they will just go make that shit. They're like, fuck it, we don't understand, but y'all want this. When people was like, they need a Black Panther movie, Kevin Feige dumps $200 million into this movie, which is like unheard of at the time, bigger budget than any other movie they had, reaps billions of dollars of benefits from it. But that's because they just, unlike say Sony, who we found out in these leaks when they got hacked, Sony was like, we should stop making movies with Denzel. He probably can't sell overseas. That's just racism, right? Because financially, you should just keep making Equalizer movies till they don't make money. That's what you do with everything else. But racially, it was fucking them up. They was like, I don't know, can black people sell overseas? I don't know if you heard this, but the majority of people on the earth not white. So
real talk. They overseas.
Yeah, more than likely, yes. People will go see this movie that the last thing they're thinking is it better be a white man. That's the thing for us here in America. But anyway, I say all that to get to the point of the backlash has been strong. It hasn't just been what it was before when like teens were putting Black Lives Matter on the court and there would be like a grumbling, but it was kind of quiet. Now there's a demand that you take this shit down. They're organizing, they're boycotting, they're making viral videos, they're threatening people, they're doxing people, they're harassing people. They're going in Target and vandalizing the LGBTQ section or threatening employees. This is a level of aggressiveness that most of these corporations are not going to be prepared for, simply because they were never activist organizations. They were never with smoke. It was a good time to say Black Lives Matter because everyone was feeling bad after George Floyd. It is now a bad time to put that on something. And suddenly they're like, we're getting rid of our DEI initiatives. We're getting rid of our head of DEI. Some people are putting out statements. Hey, we don't even have politics over here. Yes, you did. You had them 4 years ago. So I think that's what we're really seeing. And I'm sure that's affecting the conversations you're having and, the landscape of corporate America.
Yeah. And also the thing about it, I can see I don't know if it's an age thing or what, but I've looked at corporations as what they really are, a business. That the company is there to make business. Morally, don't matter. I am here to make a profit. You show up, I pay you for a job, and do you go home? There's been a shift in generations. And the younger generation, a lot of them are like, my job has to do all these lovely flowery things. They have to make me feel good and all these types of things. The corporation, that's not the corporation's job. I'm maybe, like I said, I think because I'm old, that's not their job.
Well, we're getting to a different point. I was going to bring that up later, but keep going with it.
Okay, no problem. But that's not their job. Their job is they put out an application. You said this is what I'm going to do. We exchange cash, and that's kind of the end, and I think that for a generation that my feelings are the most important, how I feel is the most important thing ever. And if you say anything that hurts my feelings, all of a sudden everybody has to deal with my big emotions, type of thing. And I think a lot of corporations, they don't know how to deal with people who come in their offices like that, when corporate America is not designed for that at all.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, I want to definitely speak on that. But like going back to what Rob was saying about the backlash, I think what people underestimate, and this is something I was talking to somebody, to your point about age, Karen, I was talking to somebody who was in their like 50s, and they were like, look, like, I know y'all millennials think that this is like the first time all this has happened, but like the cyclical nature of whitelash has been going on for like several decades, right? And so like the idea of whitelash is the negative low key is going to outpace your positives, right? So like the whitelash in this context is like we just had on somebody, we had on the CEO of Hello Alice. And Hello Alice is a company that was under attack by Stephen Miller's firm or whatever. They're going out and just attacking anybody that's pro-black, anybody that's pro not supporting white people. They out here they're suing and dismantling these companies, right? So that's like they've like operationalized the white lash. This is no longer to y'all's point, like, oh, we just mad, we gonna make a hashtag, even we gonna vandalize the single store. No. We're going to institutionalize this and make sure y'all don't exist no more. And so absolutely, like, we're seeing a difference in the conversation and the comfortability of what people are trying to do. I mean, shoot, I remember like in 2020 and 2021, I got a bunch of organizations reaching out to me asking if I would speak or do some programming or some of the other consultative work that my company does for Black History Month. Yo, a bunch of companies this year did not even do Black History Month, right? Yep. Those same brands that I just mentioned that I did years of work with, they just skipped over Black History Month, right? so and I just remember, and it would always, and I would have, look, I am who I am, so I'm gonna ask, like, hey, yo, like, what is going on? Like, yo, we've done like mad business with y'all, so like, why is there something? What happened? And they would never say. They would be like, oh, well, we're headcount reduction, budget cuts, reprioritization, all the corporate speak for, we ain't mess with you niggas like that no more, right? And I also agree that it's about the money, right? The risk can't outweigh the reward. And Blackness in corporate America is no longer hyper in vogue, so corporations are doing different things.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because the coordinated methods that they're using are so aggressive. That's the landscape that has changed. Before, you might just have some people that were disgruntled and they just be like, Lowe's and this, they roll their eyes. That's different than we're calling that corporate headquarters, we're going online and organizing boycotts, we're shooting up beer or whatever dumb shit they're doing. Like, it's a little bit different, and the corporations obviously aren't with that. They just wanted an easy win of like Black people. They didn't want to fight with Black, like they didn't want to fight on the side of Black people and deal with what Black people have to deal with whenever we come out and we voice our opinions. They weren't, that was not part of the game plan for them. And I think a lot of this too boils down to, as the pandemic measures wind down, corporations start looking to cut costs, because there's a lot of money that was influx because of the pandemic, and there's a lot of industries that were taking L's because of the pandemic, and those things are starting to even out. There's your nightlife is coming back a little bit more, but and what people are willing to do for a corporate check it's gone way down. Like, it's I don't want to come in the office, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. And so I think they start looking at budget cuts. First thing to go, DEI stuff. We don't need that. Like,
facts.
We already got some written down policy that we probably don't really enforce anyway. And we're like, that was good enough. Nobody really was holding us to account before this. And the job of a DEI director is kind of the annoying job, right? Actually, that's what that job is. And that sounds cool when you're like trying to look woke. It sucks in practice, because it's like, we need to spend X amount of extra dollars to find to go to HBCUs to recruit Black candidates specifically to change the culture of our corporation. This commercial that we were going to do, it needs to be looked at by somebody else, because all the white people in the room thought it was cool to say "coolest monkey in the jungle" for a kid's t-shirt. But that DEI person is the one that goes, that's actually going to make y'all look bad and you shouldn't do that. Or the person that has to report and handle like complaints and stuff like that, or tell you that your corporation is not perfect, because no corporation is. But can corporations handle that? And I think we're finding out effectively they cannot. They'd rather fire you.
Right. Go ahead, baby.
I'm sorry. A quick story on that to reinforce. Like I remember, man, this was just 2 months ago, y'all. I'm having conversations with these people trying to get on their 2025 budget, Karen. Okay. And they're like, yeah, but let's go. And we're about to sign the contract. Literally got it sent out through DocuSign and everything. It got super quiet for like 2 weeks. And I didn't hear nothing from them. I was like, man, like what is going on? Like we had met in person. Like we were cool. And then I saw on LinkedIn, the director of DEI was like, hey, the company I work for just made a decision to cut our entire department. I reached out to their chief people officer and I said, hey, they fired so-and-so. So yeah, they let me go too. And like that has happened so many times over the past 18 months of just me being in actual conversation with somebody who's either going to come on the pod or use one of our services. And then they just be gone. Like just poof. My bad, Karen. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just agreed. Like I'm seeing it in real time.
Yeah, and also I think for me, a lot of the aggressiveness that's kind of happened, kind of the white lash, in my personal opinion, all they did was copy what Black people was doing. Black people laid out a blueprint on this. People fail to realize us going online and us going after people for saying racist thing, us doxing them and things like that. All they did was take what we had, mimic it, and almost take it to the next level. Like all the strategy and strategically, like it's the same. Get online, get all together, rile your anger up, constantly show you pictures, constantly keep you enraged. Like to me, it's the same thing. Like we actually laid the blueprint out, particularly when everybody was stuck in the house. A lot of those people watched what we did. They watched all of a sudden when the world stopped and people started looking. They watched them, the Proud Boys, 8chan, all these chans. They watched what we did. They watched these things. They watched how people bowed down and all of a sudden got scared and didn't want to be called out. They watched, they took notes, and they said, bet when it's our turn, when we get to the point where because we did this because we felt free to do it. Now they was like, oh, our turn, when we get free, here come Donald Trump. Now we are free. Now we are bold. That's how we get January the 6th. Now all of a sudden we're mimicking the same. We're marching, we're protesting, we're showing up in their neighborhoods now. Like we're doing the exact same thing.
You're definitely onto something with that. I think it's so interesting because it's like an amalgamation of a couple of things, because the other part of this is white people been doing this for centuries, way before the internet, way before Black people. It's just always been, the lie has always been Black people do such and then we need to do whatever, right? It's always, we had to come to their town because they was raping our women. It's like, and then you destroyed the financial center of the most rich town of Black people minding their business. So I feel like it is true that they definitely took notice. The internet trolls took notice and copied some stuff. But there's also like a moment like Gamergate, where that didn't feel like it came from us. That felt like that was white people doing their thing. And then that movement, what I think was what got the notice of a lot of political right-wing people to be like, we should use this blueprint for harassing other stuff. Like it was a trial balloon when they harassed the Lady Ghostbusters film and were calling was being very racist towards Leslie Jones. And stuff like that makes me wonder, like, well, I see the roots going back to that, but I agree in that the tools online of harassment and stuff like that. I mean, me and Karen talk about this a lot just in general, but there's no like, the tools, it's like a gun doesn't have morals. And so online harassment, campaigns of grouping people together, doxing, all this type of stuff doesn't really have a moral to it. It's just it's who's using the weapon. But yeah, I don't know. It definitely has changed. And I think corporations have felt the brunt of that because, there was a time when people just saw those things as jobs and that didn't have anything to do with me not liking this person. Yep. And I think after Gamergate, when they actually were harassing gaming companies, and the companies didn't know how to respond, and they were capitulating to the harassment. I think they've taken that and done it to like Lowe's and to Home Depot and and these politicians sometimes, and they're not ready for the smoke.
I 100% agree that they are not ready for it. They were not prepared for it, because the corporation is like, hey, we're just in the job of making money. Anything outside of that, because my thing is this: out of all these corporations that came out and did, like, Juneteenth is gone, that's nothing else that got taken away, but all these corporations came out and did all these things. There are some corporations that didn't do anything at all, and they're not on the Summergram screen. That ain't nobody talking about them, because
you don't have to put out a press release that you're getting rid of your DEI department if you never had one.
Agreed.
Like, you just do it. I also think a lot of this comes down to, I think this is kind of like with Target, and there's a big misunderstanding in like online liberal spaces with Target versus I don't know, I don't want to say regular people, but just the offline. So online in liberal spaces, there's a lack of understanding for some people, not everybody, but there's like the very performative lack of understanding of like Target essentially put out a statement like, hey, we're no longer gonna like have our LGBTQ section of gear and stuff in our stores, and it was because there was an online Target campaign of right-wing people who were getting more and more bolder, like literally going into storefronts and phically harassing the people there. These are just employees,
right? They didn't ask.
We don't know anything about their moral code or anything. They're just there. They would sell whatever's in there.
Yes,
but what happens is the right-wing people don't just operate in facts and go, well, we just don't like that there's LGBTQ stuff. No, they start lying and being like, this is them trying to make your kids be trans. This is a pedophile suit. This is that. And so these deranged people that live in this bubble of derangement, they're armed, they're violent, they're belligerent. And so a corporation, what we want to see online on social media, what I saw a lot of people, they wanted like Target to be like, man, fuck y'all, bring that smoke, come up in here.
And that's not realistic at all.
Exactly.
That's not.
And so, but then I remember when they put out that statement, so many people got mad, but I still shop at Target. I go in Target, the section's still there. The clothes are still there. And I said, oh, I know what you're doing. You're just trying not to get anybody killed. And
yes.
I respect that, but there's like a lot of this stuff is what I'm saying. A lot of this discussion is happening in a hyper online world, and then there's a real life world. So there's a lot of companies who they jumped into the DEI business to try to get the PR bump. But if you actually go look at their corporate policies and structures and rules, they already were supposed to be doing that shit.
Yeah,
like
right.
They're like, now we got a person in charge of telling us to do the shit. It's like, y'all know how much more money you get for hiring Black people and women. I remember once at a company I worked at, I remember seeing the sheet of like the employees, and they had like it's like an Excel sheet, and they get like a bump for like, oh, Black person, woman, this, that. And so I'm like, they're keeping track. You clearly know this is way before DEI, way before any of these initiatives. They know what they can and should be doing. But the point is they don't want to fight. They don't want to be in the smoke with us. And so that's why you end up with them abandoning, I think, this stuff in public. And even if privately they are still doing it, them abandoning it in public is enough for me to go, oh, okay, I see what this really is. You was never about this life.
Nah. And I mean, as somebody that worked, I was a store manager at a Target. I remember they put up that statement, and I was like, nah, listen, Target, for some reason, I don't know. I didn't work at a ton of, I only did one big box retail store, like as a part of my career journey, but people do care about Target, and people will run up in there protesting, trying to prove a point. Like, I remember, do y'all remember, I think they called it, I'm gonna say it, I think they called it like Tittygate or something like that, but it was women who were breastfeeding. And so it was about women who basically women like, I have the right as a mother, if I want to breastfeed at wherever I'm at with my child.
Yeah. Okay.
So I worked at Target during that time. And it was a huge, and again, this was like way before.
Right.
This was a minute ago, right? Like, shoot, because that might have been like 2011.
Yeah.
2012. Yeah,
that was right around. That was right around when Twitter was starting. I remember because it was one of the first things that went viral on Twitter was Tittygate, and everybody being like, "What's this?"
So check it out. Like to that point, Target is so coordinated. We got all these messages and extra training from corporate, and they were like, "Be prepared. It's going to be a ton of women coming in here protesting. Blah blah blah. This is what y'all need to do. Work with asset protection." Because I was HR, so they were like, "You need to do this. Here's your script. You need to be prepared to say. Do not get in their way." And so again, like, and I just remember, and the core element through all of that stuff was risk mitigation through safety. So, hey, we can't have employees getting hurt. The property damage is like, we have insurance, but the employees got to stay safe, and we also don't want to get an interaction with we also don't want the guests, customers, to get hurt. And so, yes, like when I saw that statement about we're not going to, I didn't know, because I don't really go to Target like that anymore. But I didn't know that they started the stuff up. But in my mind, I'm like, well, nah, because that makes sense, because people are absolutely out of their minds. They'll go up in there, they'll harass you, they'll hurt you, and you have a problem on your hands. And like you and Karen, you and Rod say this a lot online. I noticed. I see Rod say it maybe even more than you. Is like on Twitter and real life are not the same. Yes, there's some things that kind of like intersect or hit each other, but it's not the same, right? And it's like you can't expect for, and I 100% agree, you can't expect for a corporation. Corporations aren't here for fighting alongside groups. Corporations are not here to like make some political statement. Corporations exist, especially publicly traded corporations, like companies. They exist to benefit their stakeholder, which is their shareholders.
Also, very importantly, legally, you will have zero cover for any liability if you put out some type of inflammatory statement courting these people that we know have guns and have threatened violence, being like, well, bring it in. We stand 10 toes down. Everybody will retweet that shit online, and then the second someone get killed, they're gonna be like, it's your fault. You know, them people just working there for $7.75 an hour. They are not ready to shoot the fair one in a company in a country that has mass shootings daily. Like, we're just no one's ready for that level of smoke. Another thing we brought up, you were talking about generations, Karen, and how younger people see things differently and whatnot. And I think Zach is a little bit younger than us, but it like, what are you seeing as corporations adjust to, you know, our corporations even adjusting to these like different sensibilities of what employees want now? Because you know, it feels like we're 5 years ago, we got the article on like what was it? Quiet quitting. And, you know, some of these phenomenon that to me as a Gen Xer, I'm like, that's just called a job. Like, like, you know, they were like, I'm corporate quitting. When it's 5 o'clock, I'm going home. I was like, that's what I have always did. If you're not paying me bonus money, I'm not doing bonus work.
Ain't that true?
But it feels like at least from I'll say anecdotally, it feels to me like corporate speak must have worked on some level to some people that really did believe and want to have like that family value system, and everyone here is important and all that stuff.
They got let down.
And I think as a Gen Xer, I was just told, don't believe in that stuff. You are as valuable as the work you can do for a company, and the company is only entitled to pay you for that work. And that's pretty much the relationship, and everything positive on top of that is a bonus and not an expectation.
Right.
But I feel like maybe now people are coming in with different expectations. How are you experiencing that?
Yeah. So 100%. I think I do think it's generational. I'm 35. My parents just turned 60 this year. And so I was raised by, they're like young boomers, older Gen Xers, like kind of where they sit. And so I was raised the same way. Like, hey, this is a job. Like, I come in and I leave. Now the challenge is that a lot of these salary jobs, they dangle the carrot in front of you of promotion or status or whatever, right? And you got people, high performing, insecure people like myself, who like very much so want to be accepted and want the award and accolade and pats on the back. So it's easy to like just work yourself low key to death, like no exaggeration.
Right.
And I think what's so funny about this whole quiet quitting thing, and it's probably because I was raised by baby boomers or older Gen Xers, is I saw that stuff as bullshit. Because when you describe it as quiet quitting, it's like, nigga, you talking about just doing your job? So you saying that before that we was doing more than our job, and so now you mad that people are just doing the 10 and 2s of their job? Like, that don't make sense to me. And so I remember I clocked it as like, hey, this is like capitalist propaganda. Like, you just want people to work themselves to death. You're not like when you say, hey, these people are quiet quitting, they come in at 8 and they clock out at 5, and then if I send them an email over the weekend, they don't reply until Monday.
Right.
Yeah, that's normal. You should that's what you should do.
Yeah,
so like
calling it quitting puts that negative connotation on it. And I think like, and it's interesting because I wonder where the origin is, because I can see exactly what you're saying, where the origin would be from the corporation's point of view, like to demagogue these people. But also knowing how online rhetoric works, I could also see people like hyping up a thing that is normal. Like, because people do that all the time where it's like, they're like, God forgive me, because I know this is a hot button and please don't write in. This is not me trying to start no shit. But it's like when you see like a hashtag that's like Black fathers, but it's like a black dad doing a normal thing. Like, it's not like
let's talk about it.
Like, I don't want to start.
I'm about to get mad. I'm about to get upset. No, I'm about to get upset. Yo,
but you know,
I saw this hashtag.
LeBron went to his high school kids game. That's a normal thing.
Normal.
That's Black fathers is LeBron got a kid in the NBA that shouldn't probably be there. That's a fucking award. Like, give that man
that's different.
Black Father Olympic award. But just normal shit, like you're here with your baby sitting on the couch. Anyway, my point being, like, once again, I'm not trying to denigrate that. I know where that comes from. I know it's a pushback against a narrative. What I'm saying is people will hype up shit that's normal. And so I quiet quit on my job. No, you didn't. That's just what the fuck you got hired.
You're working. You're just working at your job. Yo, but and look, I said before in the pre-production, I hope my mic is too loud because I knew I was gonna get excited. Listen, that hashtag shit you talking about?
Yeah.
I've been seeing this new hashtag of like soft black men or something like that, or soft men. And it was a dude and he was cooking with some jazz in the background, and it was just Hamburger Helper. Did y'all see that?
No.
Oh, I was heated. I said,
that is funny though.
It's just Hamburger Helper. You put some extra cream in it and some spinach.
Right. Well, that's
not being soft. You just that's not being a soft man. Like, so what? Like, and it's like, yo, what do you expect? You expect him to pick up like a raw piece of like a chicken breast and just be biting into it? He's cooking some food and he's listening to music. So no, you're right. Like the quiet quitting thing. It is so there is like this hustle, and like, man, I swear, like, y'all have helped me, like, because y'all do this well. Like, y'all interrogate just the trends, right? Like, why are we doing this? Like, there is a hustle to people like looking at something and then like codifying it in some way or like giving some type of term to it, and then like we see it going out. So like, now that I know more about like how the Huffington Post works and Forbes works, and like it's a bunch of freelancers pitching to these places, and they might only get paid like $250 an article. Like, so much I've just been literally learning because I've been out in these streets. So it's like the individual influencer, they're trying to figure out the latest thing that they can say and write so they can get paid, but more than get paid, so they can go viral and get their name bigger. Forbes or the publishing place is happy to take that because that's getting them clicks to their place. So it is like this Ouroboros, whatever that thing is where the snake's eating itself. It is like this symbiotic, nasty, frankly, cloudy, annoying relationship between like internet influencers and corporations who are trying to figure out the next thing to talk about. And then what happens is, like, I'm not going to say sheep because that sounds whatever, but then like the masses will pick it up both on like the executive leadership side and the employee and the like the general populace side and be like, yeah, look at all these people quiet quitting. We need to figure out how to get these quiet quitters out of here. Then you got, and so it's a whole ecosystem. Then you got consultants who will come around and be like, hey, let me help y'all measure the quiet quitters so you can fire them. Right. So it's a whole machine, but you're 100% right. I don't think when I say it's capitalist propaganda, it is, but I'm not going to sit back and act like there's some boogeyman of like corporate raining down bullshit on people. It's definitely like the internet. Yeah.
More than likely it's the corporations using the internet trend to justify doing fucked up stuff to their employees. It's, like you said, it's like, I doubt that they were like, guys, I'm so sick of quiet quitters. It was like, hey, did you see there's a new term for people that just want to barely do their job? We got to go ahead and find a way to get rid of people that don't want to do more than their job. And that's right. And so you end up with that bullshit. I, however, do have a suggestion. If you're at work, this is something that I practiced when I had a 9-to-5. It's called loud working. Okay. So you have quiet quitting. I do loud working. By which, what I mean is, if you're supposed to be there from like 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever, come in loud as hell. You know, come in at 8, like, what's up, everybody? Oh, bang a bunch of shit around. Let them know you there. You know, definitely make a lot, you know, make a stink of things. Like, don't be mean to people, but just speak to people, you know, get to learn a few little things. Hey, working hard, hardly working. Or, you know, like, just let them see your face a little bit. And at 5, don't just sneak out like you ashamed. Leave like, I'm out of here. Like, woo, look like it's about that time. You know, 4:55. I'm packing my shit up. Like,
that's go. How I used to be.
Like, they can't shame you if you don't have no shame. I'm not ashamed that I'm leaving at the fucking time we agreed to, buddy. That's not on me. So if you would like to pay me more or change my hours, we can have another conversation. But I remember they used to put that little pressure on me where like a manager would come by and be like, man, when you say it's 5 o'clock, you get out of here on the dot. And I'd be like, you damn right.
Yeah, that's what you paid me for. Yo, I loudly, like, I remember, and this is the thing, this is where it messed me up though, is because I wasn't working like hourly jobs. I was working salary jobs, but like, I don't, like, look, you got to set your boundaries. So when I was a consultant and I had projects, I would loudly arrive. So I'm coming in, hey, what's up, everybody? I'm giving people dap. They know Zach is here. And then I would loudly pack up. You heard that thing. You heard the chugga chugga chugga. You heard all the sound effects. Everything. I'm loud. And they knew at 5 o'clock.
I'll be speaking
to people on the way out.
Yeah, on the way out. I'm less likely.
You know I'm not here.
Right. I'm less likely to speak to you throughout the day, but arriving and going, hey, you have a good weekend. No, you have a good week. What you getting into tonight? I'll be saying it while I'm walking, by the way. What you getting into tonight? I don't slow down. But listen, you got the loud work. Make them feel like Rod was here today. I used this trick when I was in college. I had classes I would only attend like once a week. But when I was in that class, I was asking questions and shit. Teachers
was present.
I was present than a motherfucker. I remember it was white lady. This white lady got mad as hell. She was one of those non-traditional older students. So, you know, she took it serious. She was getting A's and everything.
Yes, you paying real money.
And she understood what time was worth. I was like 19. I didn't understand shit. But that woman, when we got our final grades, and she said, what grade are you getting in this class? And I was like, last time I checked, I'm getting an A. And she was like, I'm getting a C, and I'm here every day. And I don't mean no offense, but I barely see you in here. I'm like, yeah, but do you be asking questions? Like,
they don't know you up in here.
Yeah, they just know when I'm in here. We up in here learning. When I'm here, I don't know what you be doing. You be in here quiet working.
Right. This is the one. This is the other thing you got. This is the one. So you gotta enter loud. You gotta leave loud. But that middle part is you also got to be loud about the fact that you're gonna leave. So you come in at 8 or 9, and you know you're leaving at 5. Around like 3:30, Hey, man, listen, I'm wrapping it up. So before I get up out of here, is anything else? Because I'm leaving.
I'll be asking what y'all gonna do for the night just so I can tell you I'm leaving at 5. I don't really give a fuck
about what you're doing.
I don't care what you're gonna do tonight. I don't actually care about your life outside of these walls at all. But I'm like, Zach, what you getting into tonight, big baby? And you like, I think I'm supposed to go to the movies. And then I'm like, cool, because I gotta get out of here at 5:00 on the dot. Because I'm playing basketball or whatever the fuck it is. I'm getting out of there, and you need to know this is not a one-off. This is a daily occurrence we finna go through. But listen, loud working has worked for me. So
just so you know, and y'all making me think about the quiet quitting things. I think during the pandemic, a lot of companies started doing your Teams, your chats, your Instagrams, your instant messages. And what was happening, companies were taking full fucking fledged advantage of that, because during the pandemic, numbers showed people work harder than they ever had before, but you cannot expect employees to work at 150%. Motherfuckers were stressed. They didn't know they were going to die. So they just kind of, a lot of people just delved into work to kind of take their minds off of the world. But eventually they were going to have to go back to the world, and that quality and those high numbers were going to come back down to reality. And companies don't want to hear, fuck, we got to hire new employees. Yes, you do. I'm not working the same amount of, one person can't do the job of 3 people. And if they can, they will be missed. Because that's what happened at my old job. I was doing a position. I got changed to another position. And somebody came, they was like, well, Karen, they was like, we had to divide your job between 3 people. How the hell did you do all that? I was like, you pay me for experience. You pay me to be quick. You pay me to be fast. You keep bringing people in. Because this is the thing. You have turnover, right? So every time you have turnover, you have to waste your time in fucking training. They don't get to know nothing. They don't know who to contact, who to email. They don't know nothing about the system. I've been here for a while. I know how to work the fucking systems. And I'm efficient, and I do my goddamn job. And so, now you ask people to like, no, I'm not answering your Teams message. That's why they want you to put all the apps on your phone and shit like this on your personal phone. So they can track you. Yeah, some people's like, no, I'm not putting it on my personal phone. I'll be more than happy for you to give me a company phone. You know what I'm saying? I can do that. Yeah. But and then you need to pay me. You want me to be overnight? Pay me to be on call then. If you want to pay me to be on call, what is we talking about?
Yeah. What?
No, 100%.
And the other thing about me too is I was always happy to do the overtime and stuff when they were paying us. Like that was the other trick of it, because I don't know. I just feel like people just work not smart, and they work hard, but they're not working smart. But I'm like, listen, man, if they do say like, guys, we like people to do 5 hours of overtime this week, I'm always like, time and a half? Hell yeah, that's all you got to say. Like, I'm just not staying here for 5 extra hours because y'all peer pressure me.
Right.
But if y'all say time and a half, then yeah, I'll make the fucking time. We'll get that done. We like everybody to maybe work one day this weekend. Cool. That's time and a half. As long as I'm getting paid, I'll be here. Like, I'll figure that shit out. I was the best for that bullshit. Like, I would come in with donuts for people and shit, because I'm like, it's time and a half. This only one and a half. Like, go ahead and get y'all some donuts. Y'all think I'm a great person because I gave y'all Chick-fil-A minis and shit. But I'm just really here burning my fucking time. I don't give a fuck about this shit. All right, Zach, tell everybody where to find Living Corporate, and like what kind of topics you talking about lately.
Yeah. So look, you can find Living Corporate anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you just put Living Corporate in whatever search engine you use, will pop up Living Corporate. We're everywhere. And then, type of topics we're talking about. It's interesting because we were here before DEI was super, super popping, and we here now when DEI is under quote unquote attack. So we're still talking about navigating the world of work. At whatever intersection of identity you live at. We're talking about like career navigation. We're talking about how leaders need to better show up. We're talking about the future of work, talking about engaging and working with Gen Z people. And like, if I can just like share something about that to like, in terms of like the topic you talk about, and also something that Karen was saying earlier is, it is generational for sure, of like this expectation that companies should be this like affirming communal space. Mm-hmm. And I think at the same time, I think corporations are asking for more. Somebody in the chat was like, "Yo, I'm never putting Teams on my phone." Like, so back in like the 80s and 90s, it wasn't no Teams on your phone. So like when you got out of work, you got out of work. Like everybody, and I don't know, I don't think people was like, it was common for people to even like beep you or page you on like at 7 o'clock at night. But the degree and expectation of access is like exponentially higher now.
Right.
And
And if they
so
with you, if you be like, I'm not doing that.
right. And then you got people who are like lurk on your socials and like whatever. It's weird. Like I've experienced that. Shoot, I was a director and people and my boss was like, I saw you tweeted this thing. Like, can you explain why you tweeted? I'm like, nigga, back up. Right. And so like it's just so I think that there's an outsized expectation from younger generations because there's also an out for what they're getting from work because there's an outsized expectation of what employers are looking for from their employees. At the same time, and so there's a part of me that goes because again, like I feel like I'm a little older soul. I kind of roll my eyes sometimes, like, man, come on, bro, like just stop expecting people to do whatever. At the same time, it's like, well, yo, if you expecting me to work 55, 60 hours a week and y'all barely pay me anything, and I really wake up before the sunrise and I go to bed when the sun go down, these are things I'm going to need. I think ultimately there's going to have to be some new middle ground.
Yeah.
Companies are not going to be able to be successful. Like that's a fact, right? And so it's funny because I can say is we have a part like the partners we work with now. We work with Intuit. Mm-hmm. We got like a multi-year agreement with them, and we're helping to create content to help attract talent to their Toronto office, okay? Because they're trying to expand the town. I have seen a through line that the companies that really understand and are trying to poise themselves for the future are trying to figure out what that middle ground is. Are we going to have sleeping pods and kombucha stands like we did back in like Google, like prime Google days? Probably not. But the companies that are leading are trying to figure out what that middle ground is. Then you got companies on the other side who are like, nah, y'all going to come back to the office 9 to 5. Don't ask us no questions. Deal with it. And you see they're continuing to do layoffs. They're continuing to struggle. Right. But anyway, the point is that we're having just all these conversations about work. We try to have a good time. It's not super buttoned up. It's funny if you ever listen to our conversations, especially when I'm on with executives, because you can tell it's the most unbuttoned they've been. I sometimes try to prod and kind of get them to get a little bit more comfortable. But the idea is just like two people having an honest and frank conversation on after work with some drinks or before work, and we're just shooting the shit, being honest, maybe tell some jokes. We're going to get a little uncomfortable, but it's the point is to be honest and have real talk.
You're breaking up a little bit.
So that's what we're doing.
I think your internet connection was breaking up just a little bit, but I think we got the gist of the. It's kind of like off the cuff, a little bit more unscripted conversations with people where you get them to be a little bit looser than their typical corporate speak there, which is good. Which is, I've been on there before a couple of times. It's been real fun, real educational. Can't recommend it enough for people. And I know there's a lot of very corporate-minded people, business-minded people that listen to this show. They got these good jobs and want to hear about that.
Good paying jobs.
And also, like, I don't ever get it confused. I'm Gen X to the core, but I'm with the shits. Like, if the kids want fucking kombucha bars, get it. Like, I hope y'all get the shit. I'm never rooting against y'all. I hate when older people start rooting against younger people who just want shit to be better.
Right.
It's gonna be messy because we're human and no one gets it right. And there's gonna be some situations where I am like, I don't know. On this one, y'all kind of shot for the moon, and I wouldn't have like. There's a downside to this that you're not anticipating that can also be detrimental. But in general, everybody just want nicer shit and to be treated better. And who the fuck is against that? I've had too many jobs where I hated it and gave up on the job, gave up on myself in the job, wasn't seeing anything worth pursuing. And if these other younger generation people had their sensibilities at this job, I might not have felt that way. I might have found community in those places. So I'm never going to denigrate those folks. Now, I would like to get into some other topics because Zach does listen to the show. And we can talk about other stuff, if that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the election. Let me play the election music.
And you're running against me. Kamala Harris. Me. Kamala Harris. This former president, we're not going fast. This former president, we're not going fast. This former president, we're not going fast. So let's be clear about that. And you're running against me.
Kamala Harris.
All right. The election is heating up. We're now officially a week away from the day that we will all be the final day to vote. Steve Bannon got released from prison after serving 4 months for contempt of Congress. So I guess he'll be back on these streets causing chaos.
Oh, you know he will.
In the ways that he typically causes chaos. We'll see how that goes for him. Hopefully not well. Someone sent me this article just to hear us talk about it, I guess. But Nikki Haley is still waiting on Trump to call her.
For what?
Because she got more primary votes than him in certain places, but she ended up losing. And we're at that point where you tap into your surrogates, right? This is why you see Obama out. This is why you see Michelle Obama out. This is why you see Beyonce out here, right? This is typically where you go to the well of like, listen, I'm an old ass candidate. I'm tired. I'm canceling interviews. You send a surrogate. You send Nikki Haley to go out there and do the Trump thing for you, but he don't trust her or fuck with her, and he's denigrated her and disrespected her on so many levels. Yes. But it wouldn't even really be that impactful if she were to do something in that way, because he's just denigrated her so much. I can't imagine someone being pro-Trump, but then seeing Nikki Haley be like, and I'm also pro-Trump, and be like, well, that's good. But the thing is, you ain't got no pride.
No, they don't. None of them do.
No.
He talked about
they don't.
Lives. He done called them fat. He done called them ugly. Like he done told these people to kiss his ass. He literally said, "Oh, y'all gonna suck my dick and kiss this ring," and they did.
This is really why I don't think I could be a politician, because this is tradition. You lose, you step down. You make a couple concessions, that you give a speech for the guy or whatever. And it's like, listen, that was the primary, but we cool now. We need a Republican to win. He is so unconventional. All you get is the disrespect. There's no positive side of this for her.
About the party or at all.
But yeah, she's a whole bird for sitting around looking at the phone, waiting on this man to call, because that's crazy.
Right.
Big bird.
Kamala Harris's campaign launches Freedom Town Fortnite map to engage young voters.
Let's go, whatever it takes.
I'm telling you, man, they're on top of it. They just, because that's not the kind of shit that's gonna move people my age necessarily. But I don't be on Fortnite. Yeah, but you know who else be on Fortnite? Like Travis Scott. Like motherfuckers. It has a impact that we won't see in our circles socially. Right. But I just appreciate the aggressiveness of this campaign. Joe Rogan put out a statement today, a tweet really, saying that he wasn't going to interview her because he was going to have to travel to her for just an hour interview. And instead, he just had Trump on his podcast, and he's going to have JD Vance on his podcast. They both traveled to, I guess, Austin or wherever his studio is. And they're probably going to sit with him longer than an hour, because he does his very long form 3-4 hour podcast. But the privilege of telling us, the campaign reached out to me. I'm unwilling to travel to sit down with the nominee for president on the Democratic side for an hour. Hey, it's not that I don't like her or anything. I just want to have a casual conversation, and I don't think I will get that. I mean, he's told us who he is in many different ways, but this is just one of the all-time. Like, thanks for telling us who you are.
Rod and Karen. When I tell y'all, I saw that statement, and I was like, man, I hope they let me stay on for the show, because I was thinking about, as a podcaster, I was like, man, if Kamala Harris reached out to Live in Corporate and was like, hey, yo, I got you for 20 minutes, but you got to go meet me in Maryland. I would go.
Oh, I'm booking a plane flight.
I'm gone.
I'm going. And so
Yeah.
like it was wild to me, like the privilege and frankly the audacity,
right,
to think that, again, it's a week before the election. This is not like March. The election is next week. I'm sorry. First of all, people are early voting right now. Pardon me.
Yep.
The general election is next week. She reached out to you and was like, yo, we can make it happen. And you mad because you only get an hour? Dog, you know, I just interviewed W. Kamal Bell and I interviewed Jason Johnson on MSNBC. They both was like, hey, Zach, I got 30.
Yeah.
You got to take an hour is a long time. You take what you get. But you know what, though? Here's the thing. But here's the thing, though. I'm also not making whatever, you know, Joe Rogan got crazy bread. Again, it goes back to privilege. So when you bread it and you looking at your downloads, you probably do. Let me tell you something real fast because I've been waiting to be on here. So, you know, when I was signed to Cumulus Media for like 6 months, they gave me the Megaphone login. And so for those who don't know, Cumulus Media, they got Ben Shapiro and the dude with the really square head, but all the Republican guys. And so for some reason, when I logged into Megaphone, I saw Ben Shapiro's downloads. Like they gave me the wrong access.
Right.
You know, Ben Shapiro do like 20 million downloads a day.
Yeah.
So like Joe Rogan, these people doing stupid numbers. So I guess he's just literally speaking from various dimensions of privilege where he can say, hey, this person who has a 50-50 chance of being the next president of the United States only wanted to give me an hour of her time and had the audacity to ask me to come to her. And she did not want to pack up everything and come to me. So I ain't doing it. That's just wild to me.
There's also another level to it. He's signaling to his demographic, I won't do this.
Right.
And it behooves him to find an excuse to not sit down with this person that he has been spreading salacious rumors and lies about, that he's been intimating falsehoods and conspiracies about, who's much smarter than him and is not the boogeyman that he paints her to be. And so when she sits in front of him and she's charming and she's much smarter and studious than him, when she's fact-based, while he's the guy who just goes, really? Oh, okay. When he's that guy, it's going to end up making him either A, look stupid, or B, look completely unprepared for a candidate of her ability. Whereas if Trump and JD Vance come in there and just lie about Haitians eating cats and dogs and shit, he will sit there and let that happen. He's not a very smart, studious man. He's not a factual man. He doesn't hold anyone to account. He's just a guy who's like, we're just talking. That's the whole point of what I'm doing. And he doesn't like that Kamala Harris's campaign is like, we're not going to just be talking. We want to talk about our platform, our issues. You have an hour. Ask whatever you want, but understand our goal here is not to talk about ayahuasca and kick it with you and be friends and talk about conspiracies and shit. And I think he cowered it out. I think he just honestly said, I'd rather sit around with Donald Trump and JD Vance and shoot the shit and have very low expectations, and all my fans will support it because they already know I'm kind of a right-wing guy who pretends to not be. And if she's there in my face, it just mostly will only go bad for me.
That, and also the thing is, half the time Donald Trump has the time because he's not actually out on the trail like doing the shit that he normally. He's not flying across the country doing all this shit. Right. He canceling arrangements. Appointments and shit like this. Yeah, he got 3 hours to give you. What the fuck else is he gonna do?
I mean, if he's canceling, I don't know if that's what it is. Because if he's canceling on other people, then he doesn't have the energy and the time, right? I just think he makes time for a priority like this because Joe Rogan is a layup.
Yes,
he's a mark. He's a sucker. He's so easy. Like if the guy's whole platform is I sit here and just go, really? Wow. Oh, okay. That's the perfect buffoon for a person like Trump to sit in front of, and like I said, there's no positive way for me to spin this. So it's only negative to the platforms. But the reason I said it's so smart for Kamala Harris to do this media blitz of podcasters is because most of them are the same way. They're not very smart. They don't have good follow-up questions. They don't know facts. They're not politically astute. They don't know history. So yeah, go sit down with Charlamagne. There's no way he's gonna be able to be in your face and actually call you to the table on anything for real. He just uses rhetorical, like Facebook meme type speaking points whenever he catches somebody, right? It's always hot sauce in your bag. Did you smoke weed? Did you listen to Tupac? It's never a policy issue. He's not that policy guy. So go talk to these. Go on All the Smoke. Those guys aren't going to be able to break down the history of presidents and policy and stuff. Everything you say to them will be new information to them in many ways. And that's it's not a knock on them. It's just not their lane.
Right.
And it's not something they're interested in. So that's why I think she should do all these. I think she would have been great on Rogan. And I think Rogan knows she would have been great on Rogan.
Yes.
Which is the last thing Rogan wants. This is political bullshit. Former Republican candidate charged with stealing Madison County election ballots. I'm telling you.
But I got to show my ID, though.
Every time we catch somebody fucking with the election,
it beat them. Yeah.
You're Republican. There's another one that they caught the dude. Well, actually, let me make sure this is right, because it was a tweet. And there was a picture of this dude, and I believe them. I'm not saying they were lying. But they were saying that they caught the dude that burned them ballots boxes or whatever.
I saw the picture too.
And I saw the picture, but it was one of those things where it's almost too good to be true. So it made me be
was too spot on.
Yeah. And it was from an account that wasn't a news account but had a blue check.
Yeah, you can't trust.
Yeah, so I don't know if they really caught that dude.
Right.
Yeah, I just put Google burn ballot suspect, and they're not saying that they've been caught, just that there's a vehicle. Police are searching for the person. That's an hour ago from CNN, so I'm assuming that was some bullshit.
Right, that makes sense.
So I'm not even gonna finish talking about that story. But yeah, this dude is a 51-year-old Anderson resident named Larry L. Savage Jr. He's a candidate in the Republican 5th District primary held earlier this year. He was arrested Tuesday morning and charged with destroying, misplacing a ballot, and theft. He's since been released on $500 cash bond. Court documents show county officials began testing voting machines at 10 a.m. October 3rd, an event that was open to the public. Several citizens attended the test and were allowed to run test ballots through the machines assigned to their county. Despite being marked test, the ballots were still officially tracked and counted by the state, including real candidate names as well as differing votes. After testing, officials found one straight Republican ballot and one write-in ballot were missing. A review of security footage, which was subsequently being live streamed online, showed sir, it was being
what?
What was the plan to get away with this? Anyway, it showed him handling the two missing ballots. He can also be heard confirming with an election official that these are absolutely, totally real ballots. In the video, he can be seen looking around the room before folding up two ballots and putting them in his sweatshirt pocket. After this, he is seen leaning over to a woman in attendance and saying, "Fucked up the count." Less than 10 minutes later, less than 10 minutes later, he's seen leaving the building and showing a man the ballots in his pocket. The man then pats Savage on the back, and Savage gets in the car and leaves. What was so
to the jail?
But I wonder if this is a conspiratorial thing of him saying, because they do this all the time, I'm going to be the reason we need to pass election integrity because I'm going to fuck it up. And then it's like, what's going on with the voting machines or whatever? It's like, you fucked it up. It was fine. It worked perfectly. You
dog.
Sabotage. Nobody else is doing the things y'all are accusing them of doing. The woman Savage spoke with after the ballots were stolen was also streaming the event on Facebook Live. Soon after he leaves, the woman can be heard confronting election officials and asking them if there are any missing ballots. After leaving, he reportedly joined the woman's Facebook Live on his Card Killer 57 account and commented several things, including 3 ballots short, LOL, and don't take anything. it was determined he was likely the person responsible for the missing ballots. Police were granted a warrant to search his car and home. They went and executed the search warrant. I guess when they talked to him, he said, "You talking about the ballot the lady told me I could take? I got the paper you're talking about. I just rolled it up and put it in my pocket. I wasn't trying to steal from nobody." He began blaming other Madison County officials for this becoming a criminal incident, saying this is all political bullshit is all it is.
What? You were caught on camera.
You committed a crime.
Yes.
We're told the security video did not show Savage ever asking permission to take the ballots. He reportedly admitted that he did not. He told officers he thought he could take the ballots because they were marked sample. If you go to Payless or go wherever it says sample, you usually can take a sample. So that's the way I took it.
Sample shoe. Nope. If they got a shoe up there on display, you can't take the one left shoe and walk your ass at the store.
Right.
What?
Why did he pick?
That's not even true.
Why didn't he pick Costco? Costco is the
that would attract. That would attract.
Then now that's when you get the real samples.
There's no such thing as
take a sample.
Yeah. He just taking display shoes out of Payless.
That's what I'm saying. That don't make sense.
So that is the way I
took your shoes match, sir. Get out of here.
So that's the way I took it. I thought they were fake fucking ballots. However, officials noted the ballots never said the word fake or sample on them.
Okay, so you're just lying.
Further investigation, court documents detail how text messages found on his phone show he did in fact know the ballots were not just fake. Furthermore, both stolen ballots were clearly marked with "It is a crime to falsify this ballot or violate Indiana election laws." So,
and he got it on $500.
Yeah. I got a feeling they're like, we'll be able to keep track of this guy.
He's gonna ping his GPS location.
He's not really a flight risk, just not because he don't want to leave, but just because he's too stupid.
We know where he going. Yeah.
Yes.
They looked into his Facebook activity. In one post, he said he is demanding fair, transparent elections to help restore trust and protect civil rights. Yep. So that's what I thought. He was gonna sabotage the election so he could then be like, well, how can we trust the results that I even actually lost? There was 3 ballots missing. It's like, you stole
them. Right.
One of them was
you're the threat.
Yeah, one of them's like your ballot. Your name's on it. What are you talking about?
One of them is you.
Destroying or misplacing a ballot is a level 6 felony, and theft class A misdemeanor. Those are what 2 things he's charged with.
Level 6 felony. That I don't know. Yeah. It's sometimes it's good if the number go up and down.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I didn't know there was 6 of them.
Me either.
DraftKings is reportedly evaluating their ties to Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian who made the racist roast type jokes at the Trump rally. This has been a very telling moment because one, really, DraftKings, y'all ain't finna do shit. You gotta evaluate it. He's probably got a big podcast, big downloads, and they not finna do shit.
Or either they'll go away for a while and then come back after a while.
I think if you say evaluating, you ain't gonna do shit. Evaluating is what you put out to see if people gonna get mad.
Yeah, evaluating is almost like indefinitely. It could be next week. It could be tomorrow.
We're evaluating it. Then they just sit back and flex for the hit. Like, is everybody online gonna be like, evaluate and fire him? But enough people was probably just like, whatever, man. They was like, okay, cool. But yeah, the other thing is Jon Stewart on the Daily Show. They have a clip going around where they say he defended Tony Hinchcliffe. I wouldn't go as far as saying he defended him. I think that's kind of like internet speak. Like, it got like, yeah, but I'll say this: Jon Stewart is a dude that is friends with Bill O'Reilly publicly and has him on his show, and they pal around. Jon Stewart is not the bastion of morality. He's a very much a like, he's still a white dude that's kind of like okay with a lot of this shit that don't really affect him at the end of the day. He's not really an ally in the stand-up staunchly against this and that. He sees things from his perspective, and he's a comedian. This is the same guy that's defend Dave Chappelle after his transphobic multiple specials at this point. John will go on there and defend it and act like he doesn't really mean it. Like, so I think tar and feathering him as like defending it is probably too far, but he ain't the motherfucker to pile on these people. that's not what he sees himself as his job.
I don't even know why people like. I think people treat sometimes people. I feel like people treat him like he's like some type of like comedic Walter Cronkite. Like, yo, he's just a white dude. He's funny to certain circles. Yeah. He's like a funny New York liberal comedian white dude. Like that's what he is.
He seems like a perfectly good dude. Like I don't even mean it in a negative, but he's just a dude. Like he's not. There's like the causes that he's really staunchly about are mostly things that I think a general person with common sense should be staunch about. You know, like we should not let the 9/11 firefighters die of cancer and not pay their families anything.
Right.
Only Republicans don't support that shit. And he's also a guy that's a little bit performatively, like he does this thing where it's like, I'm not really picking a side because both sides are bad. And I find that kind of shit to be annoying at this point because we have lost one side of this country has gone so far in the shitter that you rolling your eyes at nitpicking at some shit on the left doesn't carry weight with me comedically or like legitimately. It just is not hitting the same. And if we had two proper sides that wanted to govern in this country, then sure. There's a time when them jokes would have landed with me where I'm like, oh yeah, I can see. Yeah, the Democrats do weird shit sometimes. But no, one like the joke he ended the segment on was the one I saw on Twitter was Tony Hinchcliffe coming to that rally and not doing his style of roast comedy, which is mostly racist throwback shit. Him that would be like having Beyonce come to your presidential event and not, oh wait, they did that, and that's supposed to be the joke of like they didn't have Beyonce perform, and I'm like, this does the conceit of the joke is sleight of hand, but it doesn't really work because what you're saying, what I'm hearing is one side took this seriously, and one is making jokes at a Klan rally. One was about entertainment, and one was about civic engagement, and you can be like, well, I just think it's all jokes. And of course he'll opt out and say, I'm just a comedian at the end of the day. If you say, you know, this is kind of some bullshit. But yeah, anyway, I think it's funny. Trump said he don't know the dude, which is always funny because he'll throw a motherfucker under the bus anyway.
Right. And they'll be like, we actually have a picture of y'all side by side. I still don't know the dude.
Yeah. And he stands by the racism, but he'll be like, I don't even know that. Oh, y'all don't like him? I don't like him. I don't know that motherfucker. Did all that the kiss up to him just to get thrown under the bus.
Right.
Supreme Court rejects push to remove RFK Jr. from the ballot in 2 swing states. 2 battleground states, Michigan and Wisconsin. They basically said removing his name now with early voting underway days before the election would be impossible, and Republicans want his name removed because he has become like the protest vote for the right.
Yep. So, now y'all see how that's why we fuck Jill Stein and all them other people. That's
Cornel West.
We always have to deal with that bullshit y'all do. And it's one of the things the more and more I thought about, I was like, they shouldn't have took him off in North Carolina because it delayed the ballots. No, bitch, you on there, stay on there.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, you wanted to be on there, you on there now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you, Carrie. I forgot my own term. Performative impartiality. I couldn't figure what the second word was. Amber Rose said she was just trolling, talking about Beyonce stealing her speech.
Whatever, girl.
Girl, your whole life is troll at this point. Like, are you the last person to know? We know. Yeah, we know. 50 Cent said he turned out $3 million offer to perform at Madison Square Garden at that Trump rally. All right.
Okay.
But I guess, what that really does inform you is that how much these people are getting paid to come show up and be the blackface of white supremacy at these Trump rallies and shit. Because, like I said, I don't expect.
Did you see Chingy?
I think we talked about Chingy a couple weeks ago where he was about to be at the gay Republican gala, and they put him first on the flyer. And we talked about that shit, yeah. And then he backed out and then like put something on Instagram about it. But yeah, But yeah, he didn't perform. And then the last one is kind of election related. Amber Phillips and her like wild ass CNN show that is basically just like a big ass free for all.
I'm supposed to know, but I was about to say who?
She's a
Abby,
black
yeah,
woman.
Abby.
I said Amber, but Abby Phillips. I'm sorry, guys. She's a black woman. We've actually played many clips from her show on here before. I believe she's the one where a guy put his finger in Michael Eric Dyson's face on live on the air. There's another conservative guy. Mm-hmm. There's another one where Michael Eric Dyson was on there and he got into it with this woman and later took a picture with her. And then
now I remember that one. Okay, so that was their show?
Yes.
Okay.
So here she is. Here's another one of these panels. There's so many people on the panels, and it's just bullshit. It's why I always say the stuff I say about cable news and why I don't watch it. Because they'll bring on experts and serious people, and they'll put like a bigot on the stand with them and be like, fight, like it's Jerry Springer. So Mehdi Hassan, who is a journalist and a TV news analyst and stuff, a very serious man, that very principled man, talks a lot about Palestine, talks a lot about the election, like pretty fucking on point guy. He's on there and he's talking to this guy, Gurdesky is his last name, and this is what happens.
If you don't want to be called Nazis, stop doing it.
You're called anti-Semite more than anyone else's table. Yeah. And people will sit there and, no, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. Okay. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians. I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that
no.
Right. Yes. That refers to the plot that Israel had where they were blowing up beepers and I think even cell phones that they had put explosives in to try to kill some people that they suspected were in Hamas and stuff.
A lot of innocent people died off of that bullshit.
Right. And he just casually threw that out there. Just straight up racism, really. Like, I don't really know what else to call it in that way.
And he basically was like, hey, y'all doing Nazi-like shit. And I think
it doesn't help that that's your answer, but they bring on these people that are simply what conservatism is right now. These people shouldn't be on this dais, in my opinion. And the producers of this show have been courting this. They've been, this was going to happen. I like later Abby puts out a apology that I'll play in a second, but I just want to play this clip one more time.
Hey, I never called you an anti-Semite. Okay. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians. I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that
you just say I should die.
You should not.
No,
did you just say I should be killed?
No, I did not say that. No, I did not say that.
Hold on.
Did you just say I should be killed on live TV?
I said I hope you
don't. Let me just stop.
You said you hope my beeper doesn't go off.
Because you said I'm a big supporter
of the Palestinians.
Hamas.
Guys,
let me say Palestinians.
Are you?
Right, and of course he's trying to deflect into like, you said you support Hamas, right? And he's like, no, I said the Palestinians. Is like, no, of Hamas, like, cause like so he could get something to be like, and that's why it's justified. They come back from commercial, neither guy is there. And I believe Abby puts out they put out a statement on CNN. There's zero room for racism or bigotry at CNN or on our air. Zero. I see who y'all have in your house.
I don't believe you. This is something that me and Roger talked about before. CNN actually caters towards nobody because they complain about how their ratings go down. You had a core audience that actually, y'all had integrity. People listened. People came to y'all for facts. Y'all slowly start putting these kooks and these quacks and these, here's somebody that has, a doctorate degree, and here's somebody we found on Twitter. Fight. You slowly started doing that shit, and the fan base is like, hey, dog, this don't make no sense. And then you started actually getting some of these Trumpers and all these crazy people on there, and your management changed. Now all of a sudden you catering towards those people. So the people that were here for facts started leaving. And so once those people started leaving, the people that you're you are catering towards, you're not going to get the OHI people, whoever them people is. You ain't going to get them people. They're not coming over here. They already got their fix, and it ain't you. And then the people that you did have leave, so of course your rating is going to drop. You're satisfying nobody.
What is OHI?
You know what OHN? You know what I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't remember the letters.
Okay, no problem. Zach, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, you could be. And it's tough because there are a bunch of people right now coming for Abby saying like this is your fault, blah blah. And it's like, look, respect to Abby Phillips. These people in these chairs hosting these shows, they're like mascots. They don't actually run the network, right? So 100%, like CNN has been making this push towards this center right audience they're trying to capture, almost like they're trying to compete with Fox News. And it's like, look, people ain't about to watch that. Like, if I want to see right-wing commentary, I can go to Fox. I can go to that other one. There's a couple other weird ones out there now. I'm not going to CNN for that. So it's like, who is, like, to your point, Karen, is like, this ain't engaging nobody. And so it's like, yeah, like, yo, Abby, you made your statement, cool, but I'm not going to dump on her. It's just like, what do you expect? I think somebody said like, this is like Cisco and Ebert or whatever. We're not Cisco and Ebert, the people with the Tigers. It's like you expect eventually somebody's gonna get big.
That's what I said.
That was Twitter. You, yes.
Yeah, I said Abby and CNN issuing like a statement or even an apology is honestly like the tiger bites Roy and then Sigmund apologizes to the audience. It's like, well, this is bound to happen. Y'all fuck with tigers every day. And I do know what you mean. I blame the production because the talent typically at those type of institutions, especially after what CNN has done to gut the talent.
Yes, they got a lot of
gut
personalities.
People that had authority and had some level of tenure there. You don't have as much say. And so whoever's producing that shit, they want this. And that may come from high up, right? It might, like, the producers are getting somebody like, we need X amount of Republicans. Don't put another panel together with no Republicans, no conservatives on
right.
it. But conservatives are batshit at this point. There's very few of them that are reputable or understanding. If it's not Michael Steele, it's pretty fucking hard to find one that'll at least be like, hey, y'all are right. Some of this shit is crazy. And so if you end up with people like this who are making jokes about you getting killed by Israel because of something you said on Twitter. But yeah, they said they had the zero tolerance for it. She put out an apology. But like I said, it just, for me, it just doesn't really mean much because it was a matter of time. It's watching NASCAR and going, one of these days, we're going to see a wreck.
Yes,
that's just kind of what happens. And we can pretend that that's not what everybody's watching for, but come on, guys, that's what everybody's watching for. All right, let's get out of this segment and get into another segment. Let's do a little bit of fucking with black people. Pull out my fucking with black people music.
Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people. Fucking with black people.
So Halloween is approaching,
or
as I like to call it, the annual blackface competition. And we
got some contestants.
The last few years, I feel like Pickens has been going pretty bad because the George Floyd stuff, and everybody got woke and DEI on us, and white people was learning. It was like, oh, I don't want to be considered this anymore. But with the white lash in full effect, I feel like they feel like the coast is clear.
Okay, so they're coming
time to break out the Sharpies or the
shoe polish,
or whatever. And so we have today's contestant who decided to do a Halloween costume of Diddy and baby oil. It's two of them.
Oh,
and this is the picture.
What?
My
what
God.
is happening?
Yeah, it's some old school.
And I'm like, when did he even dress like this?
Yeah, first of all, why are you dressed like Mr. Peanut? Like you're dressed more like Farnsworth than Diddy.
Yes,
Diddy ain't never wore that shit. it's like he heard, like someone said, "Hey, you should do Diddy and Baby Oil," and he said, "Who's Diddy?" They said, "A black dude." What's he known for? I don't know. He's like a well-dressed black say less player, and he went and got him a bow tie and some shoe polish.
Didn't look for no pictures online, nothing.
Just
nothing, no research.
And he looked young.
Y'all, is he wearing a shirt? Is he wearing a shirt?
I think that is a shirt.
Is that a shirt or is this bare chest?
I think it's a shirt, but let me see if I can make it bigger. I think it's just
because I was looking at it.
I can't even tell. Y'all right. It might not be a shirt. What is this? Yeah,
I was trying to figure out, like, man, just what was the calculus in putting this fit together. I think the wild part about all these blackface photos is like, it's like no one ever learns. Like, yo, I get that you think you have the cultural capital to, I guess, do this in this moment, but you know this photo is going to exist like 30 Halloweens from now.
Right. I don't think he has on the shirt. He does have a chain on.
It does not look like he got.
Why didn't he blackface his chest or black chest his chest? I don't know what we call that. But why didn't he do that?
That foundation is bad.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't put a lot of effort into it. And look, I'm a person that gives credit for effort. I know other black people don't, and that's fine. But I am a type of person that if you can put together one of these blackface outfits and I'm like, well, they do look like Ludacris, I'm willing to take a couple points off to be like, you shouldn't have did blackface, but I can't go with 100 or Jacars because if I was looking up real fast, I'd be like, oh shit, that's 50 Cent. This dude don't look like it at all. I don't know why he did it. It just seemed like a very bad idea. And so yeah, I have to say, I'll pass around the room. Karen, 0 to 100.
This gets 100 because I do agree. You're shirtless. You didn't even want to put a shirt on, sir. And also, I'm extra mad for the baby oil. You didn't even try to get an image of a bottle, like, you know what I mean, like wrap yourself in a bubble or something to imitate it. You know, you didn't even have like the little top, nothing. So you know. It's funny, the points go up, but it's also, yeah, you get demerits too, which make it go up because you didn't even put in the extra effort.
Yeah, like Tucker Carlson.
That's bad.
What about you, Zach? What would you give it, 0 to 100?
It gotta get 100. I think him and Carrie Lake got the same makeup person, and so we got to figure out. What's going? I had to get a joke in here somewhere. Y'all are too funny, but no, it got to be 100. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, man. Let's keep it going. What about you, Rod?
Give it 100 as well. You know, and honestly, man, if I'm being real, it's not even really 100 for me. It's probably like a 50. And you know why it's a 50? Because part of me was nostalgic for this. Like it's really been dry out here for a couple Halloweens.
Yeah, we haven't had it
since 2020. I don't think we had a Halloween with blackface. And I don't know, just something about this really signals fall to me. It's like the changing of the leaves. It's like Starbucks releasing the pumpkin spice. When the fuck is blackface supposed to be coming back? Okay, we back. The recipes are returning. I feel like I'm back in America again. I'm gonna only give them 50. I'm gonna go light on you this one time out of nostalgia, even though you earned 100. But I'm gonna give you 50 because I'm a little bit like, oh yes, I remember this feeling.
We still waiting for that Justin Trudeau level blackface where it was like real even. It was that was some. I don't want to say it was beautiful blackface. That sounds crazy, but you could tell like he sat down and someone really patted that. Yeah.
Yes, blended and everything. Put out the sponges.
Or that governor in Virginia that did blackface, but he was like, I'm willing to do my moonwalk to show y'all that it wasn't no racist shit.
I don't mind it then.
I appreciate his wife not letting him do that moonwalk though.
She was like, no, baby, stop. Don't
he moonwalk Virginia to freedom after that.
Yes,
I love that. All right, let's do guess the race, and then we'll do sword ratchetness, and we'll get out of here. Where's I guess the race music? There we go.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
All right, guess the race time. Go around the globe, find different articles, guess the race of the people involved. Today's contestants, Karen and Zach from the Living Corporate Podcast, and of course the chat room, which is racist and plays along. An Arkansas couple tried to sell their baby for a 6-pack of beer and $1,000 at Ozarks campground.
Oh, that's a cheap ass baby.
What's the going rate for a baby?
I don't know, but I hope it's a little bit more than that.
A young couple is facing a criminal charge after trying to sell their 2-month-old for a 6-pack of beer and $1,000 at an Arkansas campground.
2? Oh no, yeah. The price of the brick go up when they get 2. They can move around too much.
2 months.
Oh, 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I said 2. Okay, I'm about to say now they get too big. The price of the brick got to go up because they're more expensive.
Darian Urban, 21, and Shalene Ehlers, 20, of Rogers, are charged with 1 count each of endangering the welfare of a minor and attempting to accept consideration for relinquishment of a minor. They said the police received a call from a manager's office at the Hideaway Campground and RV Park in Rogers. The caller said the parents of a 2-month-old baby tried to give up their baby in exchange for a 6-pack of beer and then the money. Well, first of all, how do you start that conversation?
Right?
Like you walk over with the baby, you sit down by the campfire, and I'm like, oh man, what a beautiful baby, beautiful family. And you're like, it could be yours for a 6-pack and $1,000.
If the price is right.
I mean, how much you really like this baby?
I mean, it's fresh out of the oven, basically.
You said you could eat them all up.
2 months.
I mean, you technically could.
I think they had to negotiate up and settle down, though. I don't think they started at a case.
That's what I'm guessing too. I wonder if because the 6-pack obviously is thrown in. Like that's because the $1,000 is the real. Like the news is trying to be funny.
Obviously.
Yeah, the news is like a 6-pack and $1,000. No, it's $1,000 in a 6-pack. I'm 100% sure that's how that went.
Yeah.
Because you know what you can do with $1,000? Buy a lot of 6-packs. So that doesn't even make sense the way they framed it.
Yeah.
But I do wonder if they were like $5,000 in a keg and then it just kept going down to
right.
$2,000.
Because come on, they were like, no, we really think,
out of these diapers.
Right. The baby starts crying. Okay, $1,000. Damn.
Here, damn.
They found a letter that said, I, Darian Urban and Shalene Ehlers are signing our rights over to name of a man of our baby boy, name redacted, for $1,000 on 9/21/24. The letter which the couple are alleged to have signed further said, disclaimer, after signing this, there will be no change in y'all two's mind and to never contact again.
Do they not know that you can actually take a baby and go
drop it off at the fire department?
Yeah, like.
Well, here's my question too. What kind of person's in the market to buy a loose baby?
Yeah, like looses.
A loose baby is funny.
A loose baby. You just keeping loose baby change on you like that,
right?
You always in the market for that.
Do the baby come in the pack and you just grab one up?
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not ready to buy a moped off a person. What? Like if I'm walking down the street and a person pull up like I got this moped, $1,000. There's so much paperwork and questions I got. A baby, a whole ass baby.
A whole ass baby. Yeah. And then you was like, don't ever contact me again.
Is this even your baby?
That's a great question.
You might be trying to.
I need the baby facts.
Yeah, I'm gonna need the baby facts.
I can't just take this errant baby.
What is the mileage on this baby?
And
what's the return policy?
Right. And I already know that the motherfucking baby credit fucked up because the kind of person that sells a baby done definitely put some credit in that baby name.
You know that baby.
Oh yeah, no.
Baby got
some Amexes on him.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe a college loan.
Yes. Duke Power is looking for that baby.
Yes.
They gonna, as soon as you get that baby, you're gonna start getting phone calls from spam likely like, sir, there's the matter of $12,000 credit card that the baby took out. You need to go ahead. You responsible as the guardian now. Saying so the man, detective spoke to others, including a woman who said earlier that night, Ehlers came to her camper asking for a beer and left when she and her husband said no. Saying he was concerned about the couple's baby. Another man told the woman he was going to get a couple some beer so he could have the baby overnight. The couple agreed and gave the baby to the second man along with a diaper bag. The second man brought the baby to the first man, who was in another camper, and said he gave the couple several cans of beer in exchange for the baby. The woman said the baby smelled like ammonia and fecal matter, and his diaper was full. This is what I was thinking might have happened, and I would do this. And if I saw someone trying to sell their baby for beer, I would be like, I will take that baby off your hands, and I will absolutely call the motherfucking police. Like,
for the safety of the child.
Yeah, because I'm scared what happens if everyone tells you no. You don't really seem like the baby raising type at this point. And I don't want to see no baby on the news. Like, damn, I had an opportunity to say that, child, and I was like, I don't want to end up in no bullshit.
Child, no, we fuck around and be Tarzan, and you be like, what happened? Why is there some random baby out there swinging from the vines and bullshit?
When she changed his diaper,
it's Arkansas, so it would be pigs, but
yeah. When she changed his diaper, she saw that he had a heavy rash, blisters, and swelling on his buttocks and genitals.
Oh yeah, they have.
She also claimed she saw dog hair inside the baby's diaper. Soon after Urban and Ellers came to the camper where the second man had taken the baby, Urban and Ellers spoke to the two men and signed a letter, which the first man told the deputy he drew up per the affidavit. The first man said he gave no money to the couple, but told them he would give them a cashier's check for $1,000 on Monday. The detective then spoke to the second man, who appeared to be heavily intoxicated.
Yeah, that had to be something, because this doesn't make sense for you to be like, I'll wait, to get my money. So I was like, it got to be drugs or like trying to feel like it's something that's kind of altering the minds of the adult.
Well, when they say the second man appeared to be heavily intoxicated, that is not the father. That is the middleman who gave it to the first man. So he said, I give you a beer and I'll take that baby off your hands. And so they gave it to a drunk man. And thank God the drunk man ended up going to the first dude.
No sense to be like,
who was like, we should probably
I've had a few.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my negotiation skill is bad, Bob. I got a baby out of it, and I think that you need to call somebody. I shouldn't be having no baby. I don't know how I got this baby in my hand.
And they told Urban, the father, said he was with the first man, the guy who ended up eventually telling the police, and that the baby was undergoing an adoption. The two parents were detained, taken to the sheriff's office for further questioning. When interviewed by authorities, a couple allegedly gave similar accounts of the event, saying that the first man created the agreement they videotaped to ensure it was legal, and they planned to legalize it on Monday. The first man claimed he spoke to Ellers, who told him it was not working having 3 dogs and a baby, and would surrender the baby to him for $1,000.
That's not how any of this works.
The two creators,
at all.
Yeah. Urban was released on $50,000 bond, according to online jail records. Ellers remains on $50,000 bond, so he got out. She didn't somehow. I guess he gotta go someone gotta take care of the dogs.
Yeah, and it's one of them things where it's like you gave a whole ass. You don't know what would have happened to that child. You know what I'm saying? If it would have fallen into anyone else's hands beside the drunk man who was like, I don't think I need this baby.
The Arkansas Department of Human Services is caring for the baby. Guess the race of Darian Urban and Shalene Ellers. Karen?
I'm going white.
All right. What about you?
I'm going baby powder white.
All right, let's check the chat room. Sounds methy white. White because they always choose dogs above babies.
Oh no.
They got rid of the babies but kept the dog. The baby but kept the dog whiter than Blackface Daddy's chest. White as the diaper used to be. All right. White as fuck. The correct answer is, and everyone said the same thing, but it is white.
Yeah, no words for that.
Yeah, I'm impressed that everyone said white because the names are black to me. Darian,
they are, but the
and Shalene, like that's some black ass. Darian Urban too, Urban as a last name. You know, Urban is already
that was crazy.
For when you want to say somebody black, but you know better than to say it.
But didn't you also say they was at like a trailer park?
Oh, no. I'm not saying y'all obviously got it right.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
I'm saying I'm just surprised no one said black.
Okay.
I would have guessed black.
I think the names are black.
Because the names. Normally the names is good enough for me. I don't even really need to hear the rest of the article. I'm like, I know a Negro when I hear a Negro name. All right, let's go with another one. Florida man is jailed on felony spaghetti a la battery charge. A Florida man is behind bars after being charged with spaghetti, I guess spaghetti battery.
The spaghetti assault.
Mm-hmm.
He beat somebody with the spaghetti?
Yeah, more than likely threw it, but let's see. Police say that Marquel Royal, or maybe Markel Royal.
He got in a saucy situation.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, y'all.
It's getting a little too spicy for the pepper.
A little bit. Quite a noodle.
So police say that Marquel Royal, 40, and his wife were arguing Sunday evening about Royal's abuse of alcohol. When the domestic dispute got turned violent, Royal, who cops reported appeared to be intoxicated, became irate and threw his bowl of spaghetti at his spouse of 9 years. The noodle struck the 44-year-old woman on the front of her body and her stomach.
Damn.
Upon arriving at the pair's residence, officers found the victim covered in spaghetti sauce. Since Royal's lengthy criminal history includes a 2018 conviction for battering his wife, with whom he has 3 children, he was charged with enhanced felony battery count. His bond was set at $15,000 during a court hearing yesterday. He remains locked up and has been ordered by a judge to have no contact with his wife. His rap sheet spans 20 years and includes 10 cocaine possession convictions, as well as other drugs and firearms.
Well, damn. Some of this was, 10. Y'all been together for 9, so one of these years was beforehand.
Well, Karen, guess the race.
White.
All right.
Wasting food.
Yeah, I don't see a black. I don't care how much coke a black person would snort. I don't think they throw in fresh food.
Okay, all right. Let's check the chat room. Joe said
Italian.
Joe said, "Lose yourself." That's hilarious. Mom spaghetti. Black because that was a stupid amount of spaghetti a la Black Mama. This crime is sponsored by Hennessy. Black. 20 years of shenanigans. White. Marquel is definitely black. Not a white man. Black, says Trey. So it's very divided. Karen and Zach went white. The chat room went mostly black with a couple whites in there. The correct answer is black.
Yeah.
Let me play the applause for those.
Oh, wow.
Some got it.
Come on, Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, that's some black man too. Be wasting food.
Mm-hmm. Went and got his beard trimmed up just to go spend some time in jail. All right, time for the bonus round. Let me play the bonus round music.
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
Final story. An MTA bus driver is being hailed a hero after spotting a little girl walking the streets of New York City alone.
Oh.
Luis Jimenez, 60, was wrapping up his morning shift when something caught his fatherly eye. A 5-year-old girl walking on the sidewalk by herself near 160th and Broadway on Tuesday afternoon. We have a saying in the MTA, if you see something, say something, he said to ABC 7. Well, with me, I will do something, he added with a smile. The Harlem resident kept his eye on her through his front window for about a block before ultimately deciding to pull over, call his dispatcher, and have a passenger phone 911.
Yeah, baby walking for a block, you go and nobody is trying to be like, hey. Or you don't want nobody to walk up and just yank the baby and just run off with the child.
And with the help of other riders, Jimenez was able to get the little girl with a school bag still in hand on the bus safely. Her school had reported a kindergartner missing after she didn't show up to class. Although she didn't have any prior history of missing school, she had a different plan for that particular day, skipping out to go to a pet store.
Oh, Child, did she get up with the baby and drove themselves to Target?
See, the little girl's fish had recently died, and she was on her way to replace her beloved pet. The 5-year-old had walked already 10 blocks from the safety of her school grounds
10 blocks
before she was spotted. Thankfully, he decided to work that morning after initially considering calling out sick. His instincts quickly kicked in. He was able to get the child into the right hands and back to her family's safety. My instinct as a father came on because if I see a kid in the streets in need of help, I would want somebody to help one of my children or one of my grandkids, he said. He was born and raised in the city, specifically Washington Heights. Jimenez is said to treat each of his riders like they're simply an old friend. This isn't the first time he's been recognized for his hard work and positive attitude. When the pandemic shut down the hustling and bustling streets of New York City in 2021, he knew that it was his duty to get the essential workers to and from their jobs each day. He worked 12-hour shifts month after month as the virus continued to spread.
Wow.
But his dedication to the people of the city was recognized, and he was one of the essential workers chosen by the NFL and CBS Sports to be featured in the Super Bowl pregame show. New York don't stop, he told CBS News. We move New York. If we stop, New York stops. At that time, when I was needed, I was able to say that I'm here. So just last year, New York Liberty, a professional American basketball team based in the city of Brooklyn, celebrated Black History Month on their YouTube channel by spotlighting. Oh, wait. Damn it. Son of a bitch. That just tells y'all his race. He's black. What a great story, though. Isn't it nice not to have a criminal story? Just be like, look at this cool ass.
That was really heartwarming.
Oh, we get a free space.
Free space. Yeah, that was oh man. Sorry I messed that one up, guys.
That is sweet.
But that's the little girl walking down the
trying to get to the Pet Smart.
Here's my question. Does she know what a pet store is, or is she just walking till she see a pet store because it's New York?
I bet you she had an idea.
Yeah. Eventually she was like, I'm gonna see some dogs or some shit in the window and I'll just walk in.
Because it is New York, and I feel like
you're gonna run across the pet store.
You walk in any direction long enough, you're gonna find something.
You're gonna find what you need any direction. Just walk a few blocks. Whatever you want, you're gonna find a corner with it there. All
right, well shit. That's on me.
Man.
Let's do I'll do one more because I fucked up. I'll do one more. That's a free space. Boston police are seeking the public's help in identifying a suspect wanted for throwing a box of French fries at another person inside of a McDonald's restaurant on Monday.
Damn, the food. Why's the food keep taking the L?
What's going on?
At least didn't throw the onions.
Get something different on your face.
The incident occurred at 3:45 p.m. on Monday when a man allegedly threw a box of French fries at a victim inside of McDonald's. Police said the man is wanted on an aggravated assault charge.
Damn, is this mixed in with some minimum wage too? What's happening here?
The suspect is described as being heavy set, around 30 years old, wearing a black Chicago White Sox baseball cap, a black hooded Nike shirt, black shorts, and gray sneakers. Anyone with information, please contact Boston Police Detectives. They don't say his name, but I do have his picture. Guess the race.
I'm gonna go white because it's Boston. I might be wrong, but I'm, I
think he threw those fries wicked hard.
Yes.
All right. Zach, what about you?
That fit sounds so disgusting. I can't. I don't want to believe a brother or a black person had that on. So I'm gonna guess white also.
All black, everything. Okay, let's check the chat room. See if
with the gray,
with the gray shoes. Funky Bunch white. He throw any rocks at Asians on the way out?
Oh no!
White Sox losing trauma white. A lot of white going around on the podcast right now. Well, you got everyone said white. White sucks equal white. The correct answer is he was black. You all missed it.
Oh man.
We throwing fries and spaghetti. What's wrong with us?
That's him right there with that fit. I mean, it looked like it matched to me. The gray shoes. The gray shoes, I think, is what fucked it up. But I can't see the shoes in this. But this is a acceptable fit. But it is the fit of a man that causes disturbances at McDonald's. That is factual. If you walk into McDonald's with that, I'm assuming something's going down.
You better cause some trouble.
Yeah, no word if the gray shoes was Air Force Ones, but I think we all assume that the worst.
Absolutely.
All right, sword ratchetness, longest sound effect. All right. Oh wait, let me pause this before I start playing "Smile" by Kirk Franklin. A man spit on a police officer and he had a samurai sword with him.
What damn?
I think I can play this news article so we can listen to it. Let's see. Boom. Turn up the volume. Rewind. Here we go.
Police said they arrested a man carrying this samurai sword on David Road in Monterey Tuesday night. They were responding to a report of an intoxicated man causing a disturbance inside a home. Officers said when they confronted 24-year-old Giuseppe Abruzzetti, he charged them with a kitchen knife. Before taking off through a bathroom window, he took the sword with him. He was then again confronted by police on the street, where they used pepper spray and sponge rounds to finally subdue him and make the arrest.
That shit like an anime sword. Like literally it looked like a sword
Real
you put out like an anime.
Yeah, nah, that's like Shinobi, the video game type sword.
Yes.
It's also wild that he didn't
come with a sound effect. Shing!
It's also wild
yes.
that he didn't have the sword on him when they showed up, but grabbed the sword on the way out. Like,
I'm gonna need this later.
Oh, shit about to go down. I'm gonna need this. Let me grab the tool.
Right. Like, did he also?
I will not dishonor my clan.
Did he also do those like Naruto hands and then throw down a smoke pellet?
No, he did.
Like, he must have been like, "Shut up, no jutsu." Like, where did he go? Where's the happen to the sword? Zach, tell the people once again where to find you, man.
Man, Living Corporate, man. Just everywhere you listen to podcasts, got a website, living-corporate.com. If you Google Living Corporate, we're gonna pop us, find us there, man. Appreciate you.
No doubt, man. Thanks for coming on the show. I always enjoy talking with you, keep catching up with you. Glad everything's going well over there with the show. Yes. And listen, you one of the few people that took our advice. You asked for advice. We said be consistent. It's not sexy. It's not fun.
Yeah, most people just blow us off.
Most people say sure, and then 3 months later they'd be like, y'all really meant that. So yes, shout out to you, bro, and much success to you. Everybody else, once again, no balls deep this week. Multiple Hornets games we'll be going to. So we'll see what the schedule looks like for any other stuff. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Bye, everybody.